Hello! Over Halloween I thought I would watch some scary films and then review them, and one of the films I looked up is called Tigers Are Not Afraid. This looks like it was originally released in 2017 in Mexico, and then as far as I can tell it was released this year everywhere else. I love this film, but not for the reasons I thought I would. It's it's not scary. There are violent scenes, people die, children die. They're not afraid to go there. And there are ghosts. There are many ghosts. But it's not scary. It's actually very sad. It's quite emotional, actually. And I wasn't expecting that from what I was reading about it. It's set in Mexico, so it's all in Spanish. So unless you speak the language, you will need subtitles. That's not too distracting, although I have got quite used to reading subtitles doing all these film reviews. But I was completely engaged with it. Not just because, I mean, I find sometimes with subtitles you do have to concentrate more on the screen. You can't like look away or whatever because you do have to keep your eye on the screen to read it. But I didn't find it a distraction. I would have been engaged anyway if it was in English or if I understood what they were saying. Although Spanish isn't 100% different from English anyway, you can kind of get the gist of what's going on. But yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's a brilliant film and quite emotional, quite sad. At the end, you like the very, very final scene. You're like, oh shit, because you kind of because at first you think one thing has happened, and then you're like, oh, it's something else. That's sad. But yeah, brilliant acting. It's just a bunch of kids. They're homeless. There's a gang, there's like drug wars and stuff in Mexico, and their parents have been killed, so they're homeless, they're living rough, they're just scraping by. And there's this girl, she's got 3 wishes, so there's a bit of like supernatural on it, but when she makes a wish, things happen, you know, for everything she wishes for, something bad happens, and as well as what she wished for. And yeah, and then try not to give too much away, but basically stuff happens, you can say it in any film. But I loved it. I thought it was a brilliant film. I was actually pleasantly surprised how good the acting is, how the script and the music, the atmosphere, the cinematography. I always struggle saying that word, cinematography. Anyway, yeah, I just thought it was really good. It's obviously done on a budget. It's obviously a very cheap film, but that's fine. I like watching the independent films. I've got a real taste for them now. And I really, 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 really likes this film. I can't fault it in any way. Normally when I do film reviews, I do try to have a fair balance. So I think of something good and I think of something bad or something. I would say the only thing that really bothered me is it's really short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. It's a very short film, which in a way is quite refreshing because more and more now like, films are getting longer and longer and longer, and to have one that's actually it basically it tells the story and it doesn't need to be any longer. Like I feel like it's maybe a lot of modern films they try to stretch it out to a certain length, like they need to make it an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever. This film is just slightly less than an hour and a half. And they didn't need to stretch it out anymore. They told the story as well as they needed to tell it, and there was nothing more to add to it, so they didn't. Which is a good thing. It's to their credit. They didn't think, oh no, they weren't some big studios like, oh, we need to get an hour and a half film out. You know, you need to add in all these extra pointless scenes. It's only just short of that, but I do sometimes feel with like big studio films. Sometimes they've got a target length that they're going for. Like say, we're going to go for a 2-hour film. We will make it 2 hours and we're going to put all this extra crap in that is unnecessary. And I feel that quite a lot. I've mentioned it in several film reviews that I've done where I feel like if you just edit out and take out all the unnecessary bits, it would be quite a shorter film. And that's what they did here. They've taken out all the unnecessary bits. They've just kept in what is needed to keep the story flowing at a nice pace. The pacing is consistent all the way through. I likes that. There's a few higher moments, there's a few lower moments, there's some happy moments. There are some genuinely happy moments. You've got these orphan children living on the streets, there's ghosts, there's gangs after them, and yet somehow in all that they manage to get some genuinely happy moments. But they also get some genuinely sad moments as well. But I say it's not scary. I mean, I originally looked this up because, as I said at the beginning of this film review, I'm looking for scary horror films to review and post for Halloween coming up next week or whenever it is. And it's not scary. There's a few bits at the beginning where you think, ooh, what's going on? But it turns out it's nothing bad. Maybe that's a bit of a spoiler, but you quickly figure that out anyway. Yeah, I loved it. I think you should definitely go and watch it. Tigers Are Not Afraid. Mexican film. It's either dated 2017 or 2019, depending on where it came out. Yeah, go check it out. Alright, bye.